Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I thought I'd share a flip through of my Hobonichi because I'm aware I haven't done that in a while. So I'm using a Hobonichi cousin and it's the Avec version which comes in two parts. So this is my journal for July to December. And right at the front, actually, of the Hobonichi, you've got the yearly calendar. And I find this really helpful to be able to book things in advance. I've also got some for next year there if I want to start using that. And it just gives me a feel for how I'm going to be spending each of the months, and I can put any deadlines and commitments in advance. Behind that, I've got my monthly calendars, and I tend to keep these really simple, but down the left-hand side, I write all of the things that I would like to get done, ideally throughout the course of that month. And then I just use this really just for, again, getting a feel for what I'm doing across the month, but in a little bit more detail here. And if there's things I'm not sure of, I write them in pencil, and then once they're kind of more concrete, then I'll ink those in. And sometimes in the blank spots for the days I don't need, I put in stickers from my Patreon printables. Other times I just do lines. But they tend to be quite detailed. Again, really good if I want to remember when something happened, just being able to quickly look back through those. One thing with the Hobonichi is it doesn't come with any bookmarks or markers at all. So I've got these little tabs which are kind of like post-it notes, sticky notes, and I just move those across to each monthly calendar. And behind that section you've got the weeklies. So this is my week for now, and again I have lots of stuff that I put in pencil, and then when I know that again it's definitely happened, I'll ink those in. And you've got a little time ladder down the left hand line, so I'll probably ink them in roughly about the times that I actually do them. And again, left-hand side is the things I want to get done during that week. So when I set up for that week, I just flip back to my monthly kind of task list and look for anything there that I'm hoping to be able to get done during the week and write it here. I'm definitely going to be using my Hobonichi again next year. But one of the things I've found is that I have quite a lot of space that's left over here, because this takes you through right through till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I've been using a separate planner for things like my meal tracking, exercise logging, those sorts of things. So I think I'm probably just going to draw a line across these pages and use this gaps down the bottom so that I'm making better use of that space. So that's one change I'll make for next year. But I've already ordered exactly the same Hobonichis for next year. And behind the weeklies, you've got all the daily sections. And again, they don't have any tabs. So I bought these little ones here that you can just fold over the edge of your page so you can easily see where your month begins. Because I haven't shared any in a while, I thought I'd share my daily pages throughout all of September and where we've got to in October so far. So for the beginning of the month, I often use one of the cover pages from my Patreon printables. And then on the daily pages, any kind of decoration is fine. I love playing around with different options. So again, you've got this time ladder here where I do either plan out in advance roughly what I want to do, or throughout the day I record what I was doing at different times. And I find that really helpful for getting a good feel for how I'm actually spending my days and how long things take me to do versus how long I think they might take me to do. And then I just use as much space as I need for any tasks that I'm working on that day or anything new that comes in. And then I use the rest of the space for doing a quick bit of reflective journaling on how my day has been. And so I use everything from stenciling, washi tape, stickers, watercolour, and I love using different fountain pens in here. It holds up to those really well. And a lot of these images are cut from tape from London Gifty's pet tape, and this is London Gifty's washi tape. and I'll leave links and a code to Christine's shop down below. But I just absolutely love looking back through these pages, but most importantly, they're really good for keeping me on track. I often have lots that I need to get done, and knowing that it's all here documented, and if it doesn't get done, I just do a little forward arrow to move it to the next day. And I also like to highlight in brush lettering or just larger lettering anything big that's happened that day. So that was my first Patreon live stream, so I wanted to make sure that stood out there. And sometimes I'll put in photos. That was at the weekend on a really lovely walk we went into. I do also have my daily journal that I use for a little bit of documenting every day, but that tends to be more factual, and this tends to be a bit more reflective on how I'm feeling and how the day has gone rather than just what I did. So again, lots of tasks, and then in the evening I'll just add some little stickers, washi tape, and just a little bit of writing. Here again, lots on the go, so not too much space for writing, but that's fine. And other times, it's more likely at the weekends, I've got lots of space. So I did some stenciling here and then sprinkled some water on top of the Distress Oxide ink just to give it that lovely little speckledy look. And I was doing bullet journaling before, but the one advantage definitely this has for me is being able to plan so far in advance. And that was something I felt was missing from the way I was bullet journaling. And I didn't like to set pages up there in advance because I didn't know how much space I'd need. So here you can see I've been using lots of watercolour in my journals, and so it just holds up really well. You can sometimes see a little bit through the other side, but not so much that I find it distracting. It's a bit more watercolour. Here I went on a workshop with my mum, which was botanical collage and lino printing. So I cut one of those out to put in my journal. And again, weekends, if I don't have lots to do, I tend to just use that space then for a bit more writing, or if I've got art supplies out, then I might use those for doing some painting or something like that. Because it's got the reflective writing, I particularly like being able to go back and read to see how I'm feeling, whether things have changed, whether I'm feeling more in control of my workload or less. So again, just really useful having that writing alongside the tasks. Again, that was from my Patreon printables. So we're now into October. And it's really encouraged me to use my fountain pens more and keep swapping over the ink colours, just bringing lots of colour and life to really what is obviously ultimately my planner. Here I just had some paint left on my palette from a project I've been working on in my art journal, so rather than waste it, I just added that to the bottom of the page. I'd love to know if you've decided what you're going to use next year for your planners, for your journals. I really don't think I'll be making many changes because this has just been working so well for me. I enjoyed it so much, this alongside my other journals. Before the end of the year, I will film a setup video just sharing the different journals that I've got on the go and perhaps how they work alongside each other, when I tend to use them, because that's some of the questions I get asked, is how I decide which journal I'm going to use for different things. So once I've definitely got all of my lineup kind of confirmed in my own head, then I'll definitely share that with you. So we're nearly at the end of the pages that I've created so far. That was from my Inktober sketching last year. I turned those into some free stickers for Patreon, and I'm going to be doing the same again this year. Is it? That brings me up to date in my planner. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing that. If you do have any questions, then please do just let me know down below. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. Well, I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing that. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.